Hi everyone, now we're going to work on setting up our own still life, and we're going to think about some of the rules we discussed about composition and how to place things, and we're just going to have a little play and then we're going to do some drawings from it. Okay? Okay, so exercise 1 for this drawing is you're going to be creating some scribble drawings using 3 different chalk pastels, or if you haven't got chalk pastels, pencil crayons, but 3 different colours. Just check on the side, I've already had a little check, whether you like your colours together, whether you can see a difference. And it's one of those challenges where you're just going to have to go with me on this and then think about it afterwards. So the challenge is that you're going to have 1 minute per colour, and you're not allowed to stop moving your hand while you're drawing. So even if you're thinking, you have to keep making a mark the entire time. So it's going to be very fluid and flowing on your page. And then after 1 minute, you'll have to set yourself a timer or guess. Without stopping, you're going to swap over in that hand and choose your next colour and carry on drawing with your other colour hand. Anyway, I'm quite precariously balanced with a thing on my knee and a board, but anyway, let's have a go. Okay, so start my timer. All right, I'm going to start with the lightest colour first, and I'm just going to be looking the whole time at the still life in front of me, but I'm not really too concerned about whether or not I'm drawing things in the right place. I'm just more concerned about getting the shapes of the objects in, the sticks, whatever. And then, so when my eye's going somewhere, that's where my pencil's going, or my pastel anyway. Okay, so that's the first minute. So this is quite tricky when someone's not timing it for you, actually. But you're supposed to now, so I've started the timer again, so carry on and then swap hands. Oops. So I'm going to start having a little draw on the feather. Some of the petals and stuff at the bottom. Don't really know what to draw anymore, so I'm drawing some of the shadows in the folds of the fabric that I can see, and maybe a bit of the background behind. Oh, and now I'm going to swap onto my last colour, and I'm going to be drawing in some of that big shell now. Okay, stop. For the next task, you're going to be doing using charcoal on white paper. So I'm luckily found a massive piece of paper I had from an old drawing, so I'm able to use that. So don't worry about this bit in the middle, I've just scribbled it out. So I want you to just slow down a little bit more and take your time. And for this, you're going to do 3 lots of 3-minute drawings, one on top of each other. And I want you to take an overview of the whole still life. So I'm not going to time it, but I'll give you an idea of what I want you to do. So starting, looking at what's going on, getting some nice shapes down. Still really loose and fluid at this point, really light, because this is just your starter drawing. Blah, blah, blah. So where does that one go? It goes here. Have this stick coming out here. Fur comb coming out the back there. Oh God. Okay, so I don't know how long I spent doing that, but you're going to do your first drawing like that, and then you're going to just get your hand or a piece of tissue or something. I just want you to rub that back, because what we want to play around with here is the weight of line again, and see what, using different weights of line, what effect that will have on your drawing. Will it give it any more depth, or also will it allow you to change some of the shapes that haven't quite worked out the first time. So now you're going to start again, drawing on top of it again, checking that the lines are, you can then choose the lines that you want to use. Maybe adding some other ones. Have a little play around with what kind of different marks you can make to explore the texture of the things that you've got into your... Okay, so do that for another, say, 3 to 5 minutes. And then rub it back again, some of it. As much of it or as little of it as you want. And then this is going to be your final drawing. And maybe you can't really see my paper properly, but maybe if I bring the page down a bit, maybe you could start drawing more of the things that are in the foreground now as well, and giving them a little bit more stronger emphasis. These last drawings that I want you to do from this still life setup is at least 2 thumbnail drawings using pencil. So by thumbnail drawings, I just mean little sketches. So this is just an A4 sheet of paper. So your thumbnails can be any size you want. Be a bit bigger if that doesn't work for you, that size. And here is where you can explore a little bit what size drawing you might want to do. I mean, what proportion do you want it to be? Like a bit more square, a little rectangle, a bigger one. So that is going to be one of the first decisions really you need to make when you're working on your composition for your drawings. What size, what proportion, what shape paper, canvas, whatever you're going to use. And then I want you to think about some of the rules of composition that we looked at in the PowerPoint slide thing. So maybe you could draw a grid on of the rule of thirds. Very badly drawn there. And you could start thinking about, okay, so if I want the line of the tape, I've got like a little shelfy bit here where the little jar's sitting on. Maybe that could be along this line. So then I'd have the jug coming up like this, and I'm cropping it as well, so it's cropping off the top of the page. And naturally I've just put the jugs along one of those other third lines as well. And then if I start like that, I'm considering that at the moment. And if I put in the rest of the composition, what happens? What's going where? So I have a little sketch there. We've got the branch, and then I've got the massive piece of bark down here. So these sketches aren't so much about the detail that's in the drawing, but just about the amount of space each part, each element within the still life is going to be taking up, and where is it going to be on the drawing. So I could start one like that. You could add some shadow if you wanted, or some more detail than that. You can take as long or as little amount of time as you want on this. You could block in different colours, different shapes to give you an idea of where things are. So that's the other plant part on the other side there. Look. Let's have another go at a different one. You could take this from a totally different perspective. Maybe you could use the rule of odds here, and you could say that this lump of pebbles here on the floor, that's one thing. Don't know what the other ones would be. I think that's probably something you'd need to consider when you're putting your still life together. But you could, what else could you do? You've got cropping and rule of thirds. So you could play around with really zooming in. Maybe this whole thing could be the pebbles. Maybe we could make that really massive. So you're really playing with scale in this drawing. Next one, maybe you could have a different take on this one, have a different look at where you could position your objects. We could move it right down so that we could have that little jug, we could have it somewhere along here so that it's sitting along the little ledge here. But we've got the other bits going over there, and we've got the big shell coming down here. We've got a little shell in the distance, and then you've got the edge of the still life, and you've got the plants and the leaves coming over here. So you've got a totally different thing going on there, because in this one, you've got all of this empty space behind it. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. There's no right or wrong in this. It's just a matter of thinking about it and trying to think of things differently. You could try a bird's eye view as another example. So stand up and have a look at it from above, or take a photo of the still life from above and see whether you can create an interesting effect from that.